Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about something you may have heard transpired last night, and it was a terrible shooting that took place in Lafayette, Louisiana, and it was at a movie theater. 3 people are dead, and the best of my knowledge, at least 7 are injured. And I'm thinking, well, what else is new? We have another heinous crime, another murder taking place. When is this violence ever going to end? Yeah, that's a rhetorical question, of course. But I mean, we had that shooting at that church. Now there's one in a movie theater. It's getting to a point where I'm wondering, is there any safe place anymore? And what's wrong with people? I don't know if this person had a mental condition, if he was psychotic, or what was going on with this individual. He was in his late 50s, and he turned the gun on himself, and he killed himself after shooting the people in the movie theater. And apparently he was estranged from his family. And I believe the movie was entitled Trainwreck or something similar. Kind of ironic. His life was obviously a train wreck that transpired and happened. Oh, I don't have to be a prophet or medium to pretty much everything but 100% know on Dr. Drew on Monday. This is going to be the focal point of their conversation, assuming it's a new episode, that is. And Dr. Drew is going to probably try to see if there was something traumatic that took place in this person's early life in their childhood that may have impacted him as an adult. I understand these things might play a role into someone's mental state later in their life, but I think if something devastating happens to somebody when they're a child, I don't think you can necessarily, or at least always say, well, that's why they committed this murder. Now, I understand when people are young, if they don't have discipline, they don't have that real dominant, authoritative figure in their life, sometimes it can lead to somebody as an adult that acts very irresponsibly, and I understand that, I get that. But when people murder others, I don't think, generally speaking, I don't know if you can attribute it to their negative or adverse childhood. I mean, I think what people are going to start debating now more, I bet, because of this, about gun control and the statutes that are connected with it. What I think needs to be done more than anything, as far as these shootings go, it seems like it's very simplistic to me, but I don't hear about this talked frequently. What about perhaps getting some kind of metal detection systems? And see if these people are carrying some kind of weaponry when they go into these places. These people are getting into these locations and they have these weapons, and once they have them, I mean, they're lethal. They can, obviously, you have a gun, you may use it to shoot somebody. They need to do something where some kind of precautionary measure when people enter these buildings or what have you, that they have to make sure that they don't have these weapons on them. And I think that they're going to probably scrutinize these issues more now and I'm hoping, start looking at ways to stop people from carrying these weapons. Now, I understand there are some people that have gun permits, and they carry the weapons as an order of protection. But the problem is, what do you do when people are not using this for protection, and they're just using it to commit abhorrent crimes like murder, or really seriously injuring somebody if they don't murder them? It's at a point now where I'm not going to say I'm ashamed to be an American. I'm proud of my heritage and my country. But I really believe there's some people that are going to start to cower in shame because they're in a country where these crimes are taking place, and where you get these knuckleheads going around just doing these random murders, and they're shooting people in a lot of instances that they don't even know. This is something where they're gonna. The reality is, the government now, I think, needs to do something very strong and do something to really to protect the citizens as far as going into places, whether it's a congregation, a church setting, whether it's a movie theater, whether it's shopping malls. I mean, people have enough weapons with their fists as it is. We will never stop volatile actions completely. But I think it's time where people become more stringent as far as safety measures go when people enter these places, and in doing things to perhaps take away this weaponry. I think that's really something that needs to really be emphasized very strongly. I don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, my voice can't do it alone because, as many of you know, on this channel, on the Zodiac Man 2007 channel, which I'm putting this video on, my videos are only averaging like 30 or 40 views, so I can't do this by myself. And I know I'm not going to get many shares with this video. But it takes a collaborative effort on all of us to do the things that need to be done as far as the protection goes. Whether it's making the videos like I'm doing, whether maybe it's sending message to Congress, to the government, to the president, whatever needs to be done. People, the politicians themselves, I think, have a responsibility to do things to make things more stringent as far as these guns, walking around with guns. I mean, I understand you can't stop everybody coming out of their home and searching them and seeing if they got a permit to carry it. I understand that. But going to these locations where it's supposed to be a peaceful and tranquil atmosphere, where people should be able to have a convivial time and have fun and enjoyment, this contradicts the whole point of that. And I think the only way to do it is to try to find ways to take stronger preventive measures against, as far as the guns go into these locations. And I think I understand if someone's in a bad neighborhood and they got a gun permit, maybe that's a different scenario. But I think they almost need to just stop the guns from entering these places. And the only way to do that is by having better security systems, whether it's one of those X-ray-like devices that you go into some places, which scans for things like this, whether it's detection equipment, just general metal detection equipment perhaps, whether it's actually having to search a body, whatever needs to be done, no matter how extensive it needs to be. It definitely needs to be done, and sooner than later. Well, anyway, people, this is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, people, stay well.